Hey there, friends and enemies, Jopi here again, and today we got a brand new trailer, official release date, and other information for Elden Ring Nightreign, one of the most anticipated games of 2025, and it's coming sooner than a lot of people think. There's also a network test ongoing this weekend, which I have access to, so I'll definitely be posting some gameplay of that, and if you are looking for a PS5 code, I might have an extra one or two, so let me know in the comments down below. But anyway, yeah, we got so much information. Let's check out the trailer first, and then we'll go from there. The vibes of this game are already immaculate. Just the feeling of returning to Elden Ring. Flying by the hawk is crazy. Co-op. Magic. Bunch of enemies, wild attacks. Nah, that's crazy. What? That maneuver was awesome. Yeah, this is so sick.
Band together and prepare to claim.
The boss.
Of the Night Lord.
Oh man, this big Cerberus boss is crazy. May 30th, 2025. So yeah, just a few months away. Very sick. You get a bonus gesture for pre-ordering. Standard deluxe editions right here. And then this is going to be the collector's edition. You got the steelbook. You got the statue. You got art book. All kinds of good stuff. It's absolutely insane. I know this is going to sell out almost immediately. Now, there were a bunch of folks that did previews. There's also an article that I'm going to go over in a second. But according to the previews, the game is very interesting. There's different classes. You level them up individually, and they all have their own abilities and then ultimates. The way the gameplay loop works is you have a day cycle where you just fight regular enemies, and then eventually you get to the night cycle where you're going to fight a boss. Ultimately, there's going to be multiple day-night cycles till you get to the final boss, the Night Lord, and then once you beat them, that's how you kind of win the objective. Supposedly, it takes between like 35 minutes to an hour per run if you complete it. You also have your teammates you can run with, and you're all going to be upgrading at the same time. You can kind of move together or split up depending on how you want to take on various objectives. Now, as far as the PlayStation blog, we did get some new information. This right here looks absolutely sick. I'm a big fan of that art right there. So they recently got a chance to play it. It's more fast-paced, so you have wall running, stuff like that. You can fly around with your Spectre Hawk as well. And then you have the Nighttide mechanic, which steadily contracts your explorable play area until you get to nighttime, where you'll fight that boss. So essentially, you're going to try to explore as much as possible until the area contracts so where you get to the boss fight. So I do think that is interesting. You can work together as a team. You can split off separately to see as much of the map as possible. Either way, I think is going to work quite well. Now we have, like I said, the Spectre Hawks. No fall damage, which I think is very interesting. Should help certain streamers who might be prone to taking fall damage. You also sprint and you go almost as fast as Torrent, the steed from Elden Ring, which is kind of insane. And I do like this mechanic. It does feel like this is going to be what separates Nightreign from base Elden Ring, right? You have the co-op, obviously, which is different. You have, instead of swapping up your builds kind of as you want, if you have the materials, now you're going to swap between different classes, essentially, with their own skill sets. So I do think that is interesting. And then you can run, you can wall jump, and then you can fly on the hawk as well. So I think all of that will allow you to explore a lot more freely compared to the base version of the game. Now we also have reviving, where you actually hit your teammate with an attack. You can also hit them at long range and lock onto them in order to revive them from range, which I think is a good thing. It will allow different builds to be able to revive depending on how you set your team up, for sure. And then also, so this was a mechanic, it showed it right here in the little footage. But also, yeah, you have like a meter, and the longer the more times you're down, the longer the meter gets in order to get making it harder to complete the rescue. So that's very, very important to understand. You don't want to die a bunch, but the meter does reset when you visit a site of grace. So once you get to bosses as well, the nighttime mechanic is different. So during the day, if you die, you will respawn potentially, but at night you'll stay down until you are revived or your team is wiped. So I think that's fascinating as well. It says we failed the first 4 of our 5 attempts. After each loss, we ventured out further to explore more of the map and spent time strategizing and studying boss moves until we finally managed to take it down in the final session. One run, a 3-day and night cycle, takes about 35 to 40 minutes to complete. I said an hour, but that's going to be if you don't have a preset team, I would imagine. Very interesting. I do think that sounds like it's going to be very fun to just jump in for an hour. Elden Ring is one of those games where it's easy to get wrapped up and be playing for hours on end, whereas this one will be more jump in, jump out, depending on what you want to do. Same kind of feeling, it sounds like, of overcoming bosses when you are fighting these challenging enemies, and apparently this is still a very difficult game, just like base Elden Ring, especially in the beginning before people found the best builds and all that kind of good stuff. We have the Night Lord as a final boss. I'll be interested to see what the reasoning is, like why you'll want to take this day-night cycle on multiple times at the end of the day, because the upgrades have to be worthwhile as you're playing. You know what I'm saying? Is it going to become something of a cakewalk over time? Is there different levels to the challenge? With the Ultimate Edition or the upgraded version of the pre-order, it did say there's DLC coming as well. So does that mean we're going to get additional bosses and end bosses in the future? Lots of stuff like that I'm very curious about. But I'll definitely get a feel for it when I play this weekend during the technical test. We are allowed to post footage from that as well, which is very exciting. So I'll have that for you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like the video as always. Comment, subscribe. I can't wait. This game is going to be absolutely insane. My name is Jopa. Have a good one. I'll catch you all later.